Coming up on NT Daily News, find out why one UNT group is planning a silent protest tomorrow.
And we'll take a look at Dirk Nowitzki's accomplishments during his 21-year career in the NBA.
Also, we'll tell you about a UNT student who is making an impact in his community.
From the Mayborn School of Journalism at the University of North Texas, this is NT Daily News.
Like asthma, you may want to limit the time you spend outside today and tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcus Carr.
And I'm Tristan Hanks. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has issued an orange ozone alert for Denton County. Denton residents can help lower the impact of ozone formation by conserving electricity, carpooling, and taking public transportation. Officials also suggest that residents refuel their cars after dusk and limit the use of motorized lawn tools until 6 p.m. Ozone levels are normally lower in the morning and it rises throughout the day. The heat is on the rise and the need for shade is too. NT Daily's Natalie Bermudez is live at the Dina Rec Center to tell us more about local resources for those in need of a cooling station.
Summer is starting and Texas is only getting hotter. Cooling stations around the Denton area are now open and will remain open for everyone all summer long. This rec center provides heating, air conditioning, public restrooms, water fountains, and sitting areas for people looking to cool down temporarily or to wait out while the weather calms down.
Our locations only provide a place for them to come. Normally, you would have to have a rec pass to come in. And what we do to address the situation is we provide them to come in without that rec pass. They're able to use amenities such as the showers, the game room, or just hanging out in the lobby to stay in from the heat.
Some other cooling locations include Our Daily Bread, South Branch Library, and the Denton Civic Center. The Denia Rec Center, along with the other locations, are only open during their daytime hours of operation. Reporting live in Denton, Natalie Bermudez, NT Daily News.
If you drive through Teasley Lane and Dallas Drive today, you might experience some changes. Traffic will be redirected because crews are working on the median. There will be one lane in one direction and a lane for right turns only. Traffic signs will flash red at the intersection during work hours, and crews will be on site from 9 to 6. Workers will be at the location all week. National Work Zone Awareness Week kicked off yesterday. Over 25,000 crashes were reported in the last year inside work zones. These crashes are due to drivers speeding and not paying attention. The Texas Department of Transportation reports 3,000 active workers across the state. TxDOT recommends drivers slow down and follow the speed limit. Always pay attention to workers and heavy equipment at the zones. Stay alert and don't get distracted. And finally, not reducing speed limit can cost $2,000. Keep these tips in mind when traveling in a work zone.
For most people, starting a business is overwhelming and stressful, but North Central Texas College has partnered with the Small Business Administration to make the journey easier. Nctc's Small Business Development Center provides counseling about loans, record keeping, government, contracting, and much more. Their services are free for Cook, Montague, and Denton County residents. Earlier this year, the center was named the Small Business Development Center of the Year for 2018. 7 years ago, Rachel and Emmanuel Sarasanos decided to start their own senior living facility business and went to Nctc's Center for Help. She said Nctc's help was huge for them.
I think it's huge because it gives people a starting point, and it's useful. It's a useful tool to connect people in the community that otherwise wouldn't have those connections.
Sarasanos said the center connected them with someone who was starting a business in web design to design the senior living facility's website. She said they had monthly meetings that provided networking opportunities they have benefited from. If you are interested in help starting a small business, you can reach out to Nctc's to set up an appointment. Texas teachers can expect a pay raise by 2020 thanks to Texas legislators. The bill gives teachers and school employees a raise. I spoke with Frisco Centennial High School teacher and coach Michael Hirsch on the bonuses of receiving a bonus.
The average public school teacher makes $53,000 per year in the state. If passed, Senate Bill 3 would award over 352,000 teachers in the state of Texas with a $5,000 pay raise each. $5,000 could go a long way for high school coach and teacher Michael Hirsch.
Any raise would be a good raise because obviously that's additional income, and it's not something, raises are not handed out by districts for performance. At least for Frisco ISD, it's not a performance-based thing. It's just everybody gets a raise or everybody doesn't.
SB 3 would cost the state over $1.9 billion per year and would come out of the state's legislative budget. Hirsch says the extra income would help relieve stress off of himself and Coach Lauren O'Brien during a long season.
It interacts with your own personal life. Obviously my boys are in sports, they have practices, so it becomes really tough. By the time we get to the end of the year in the playoffs, we, both Coach and I, we're very tired. And we put a lot of energy, really emotional energy, into the team.
The two coaches consistently have high AP scores along with winning the 2016 state championship, but have not seen a pay raise. O'Brien understands the pay increase would not take effect until 2020 if passed, but is looking forward to a little more financial help.
The pay increase, I think, is a good thing. I'm hoping that it can help a little bit with car payments. I have a young son who's about to drive here in the next 3 years, so we will be adding that finance in.
Although senators have not proposed exactly where the money will come from out of the legislative budget, revisions of the bill have begun. However, the bill is looking at decreasing the pay from $5,000 to only $1,000 per teacher. Hirsch understands the money may not be life-changing, but he is grateful to continue doing what he loves while being able to support his family.
The bill initially only included a pay raise for just teachers. The most recent version of the bill includes across-the-board raises.
29 Acres, an organization that caters to adults with autism, is launching a new summer program in June. The 6-week program is aimed at people 16 and older. It begins on June 3rd. The program director, Morgan McKay, and founder, Dr. Deborah Cotty, are trying to raise money and awareness for families who need financial help using 29 Acres services. According to the 29 Acres website, the summer program is designated to create an environment that results in greater independence. For more information, please go to 29acres.org.
A UNT student organization is staging a silent protest Wednesday night. NT Daily's Jasmine Johnson spoke with its president to find out why.
UNT Students for Sensible Drug Policy plan to stay silent at tomorrow's student government meeting, but the group hopes its silence sends a loud message. The group's president, Tristan Sickles, said the protest is in response to the SGA vetoing a recent resolution that called for the removal of punitive punishments for students with first-time drug possession violations. These punishments include loss of on-campus residency, suspension, and expulsion. Sickles started the organization after being arrested for marijuana possession on his first day as a freshman.
The university informed me that I would no longer be welcomed on campus, and so I'd have to vacate the dorms, and I had a 2-year criminal trespassing warrant where I could not be on the dorms, nor could I go to any of the eateries or cafeterias on campus for 2 years, and I had to pay a $500 breach of contract fee because I had to leave the dorms.
Sickles said in the last few years, the university has shown more leniency toward alcohol and marijuana. Jasmine C. Johnson, NT Daily News.
Coming up, we'll tell you why Washington State Attorney General's office is suing Motel 6.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers, but you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Attorney General Bill Barr will face a panel of lawmakers for the first time since sending his summary of the Mueller report over to Congress. CNN's Karen Kafa has the latest from Capitol Hill.
It's technically a budget hearing, but for a panel of lawmakers, it's also a chance to be face-to-face, in public, and on the record with Attorney General Bill Barr for the first time since he sent this 4-page summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian interference in the 2016 campaign to Capitol Hill.
It's important that we question Attorney General Barr about the report, about his timing, about the thoroughness of his redaction, and about how soon he's going to release it to Congress.
Last week, the Democratic-controlled House Judiciary Committee voted along party lines to authorize a subpoena for Mueller's full report and the underlying evidence. Democrats have kept up pressure on the Justice Department, particularly amid news that some members of Mueller's team, who remained highly secretive during the 22-month investigation, have privately expressed concern Barr's summary cast their findings in a more positive light for the president than the evidence lays out. The president and Republican allies have seized on Barr's review as what they call exoneration.
The president did nothing wrong.
Mr.
They
Mayor.
are chasing him, harassing him. This is a total political endeavor now.
Barr is working on a redacted version of the Mueller report to keep sensitive information under wraps, but Democrats still want the whole thing. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Attorney General Barr is scheduled to return to Capitol Hill on May 1st and 2nd for hearings before the Senate and House Judiciary Committees. Eric Swalwell, a California congressman, has announced he will run for president. He is now the 18th Democrat to enter the race. Swalwell made his announcement on The Late Show, where he proposed what he plans to do.
None of that is going to change until we get a leader who is willing to go big on the issues we take on, be bold in the solutions we offer, and do good in the way that we govern. I'm ready to solve these problems. I'm running for president of the United States.
Swalwell is starting his campaign road trip this week. His first stop is in Florida, and he plans to focus on gun violence. He will then travel to Iowa on Thursday and South Carolina on Friday.
Motel 6 will pay a $12 million settlement after giving guest information to federal immigrant authorities. The Washington State Attorney General's office sued the motel chain for sharing the names of and personal information of about 80,000 people without a warrant to ICE agents. The disclosures involved 7 Motel 6 locations between 2015 and 2017. The Attorney General's office said the information, quote, resulted in ICE's targeted investigation of many guests with Latino-sounding names. The AG's office said the $12 million will go towards monetary damages for guests whose information was given to federal immigration authorities. In a statement, Motel 6 said it will continue to enforce its guest privacy policy except in cases where a warrant or subpoena is present. Another member of President Trump's cabinet resigned. Kirstjen Nielsen is stepping down from her position as the Homeland Security Secretary after she visited the border with President Trump last week. Over the past few months, Nielsen has butted heads with the president, acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and National Security Officer John Bolton. President Trump announced via Twitter that U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Kevin McClaney will take the role of acting Homeland Security Secretary. Next, find out how the Mean Green softball team's head coach is contributing to the team's successful season.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, bro. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. it always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
The NCAA's National Basketball Tournament came to a close this week. Texas Tech and Virginia battled it out for the national championship. Besides the craze around Duke's team, the spotlight for this tournament was on Virginia after they lost in the first round of last year. Virginia bounced back from last year, but was not projected to be in the national championship. Both teams fought hard during the game with 8 ties and 8 lead changes. However, it was Virginia who came out in the win, the first national championship of Virginia basketball program history. Staying on the court, the women's national basketball tournament crowned their champion as well. Baylor and Notre Dame met in the championship game for the second time in the 7 years. The two teams played for a rematch of the 2012 championship, where Baylor won by 19 points. This time, Notre Dame forced a close game in the second half, but Baylor closed out the game and won 82-81. This is the third national championship Baylor has won in program history. After 21 years in the NBA, Dirk Nowitzki's last game could be tomorrow. He played for the Dallas Mavericks his entire career and is the only player to ever play for more than one team for over 20 years. His accomplishments include MVP in 2007, winning a championship and finals MVP in 2011, being number 6 in all-time scoring, and being a 14-time All-Star. However, Nowitzki has influenced many of today's NBA players, from Kevin Durant to Kristaps Porzingis. Nowitzki's last game in Dallas will be held tonight at the American Airlines Center as the Mavericks take on the Suns at 7:30. After sweeping Florida International, UNT softball became the first team to reach 10 conference wins in Conference USA and sits at the top of the West Division. Currently at 10-2, the Eagles are in better shape than last year, where they finished under 500. Some say a large part of the changes is due to new head coach Ronnie DeLong. Despite coming into a roster he knew little about, Coach DeLong seems to have created a winning culture.
Got to build their trust so that we can coach them hard and develop a blue-collar mentality in our kids. And they've really bought into what we're doing. They're working hard. They're enjoying their time, and that's what my programs are all about.
The team's next game will be played this Saturday in Bowling Green against Western Kentucky, who is 9-0 in the conference play. Electronic sports, otherwise known as esports, is on the rise here in North America. NT Daily's Carlin Green tells us how University of North Texas is virtually playing its part.
On Sunday, UNC hosted its first ever esports tournament, the Texas Clash. Teams from North Texas universities challenged each other in the most popular PC game, League of Legends. The event was free for anyone to attend, and students showed up to come support their schools.
In April 16th of last year, it's now an official varsity program. As UNT, we definitely pioneered a lot in the esports industry because we were actually the first public university in Texas to found a varsity program. And very quickly, a whole bunch of others started to, crop up. And so we knew we were doing the right thing. This is the right ecosystem for collegiate esports to really take off and grow like wildfire.
Texas has been one of the leading states in investing in esports. Just last year in Arlington, the esports stadium was built, making it the largest facility in the United States dedicated to online gaming. And as of last year, in some states across America, Texas included, esports has now been named as an official high school sport.
I think it definitely would remove a bit of the stigma that's surrounding esports and just gaming in general. Whenever things like money come into play, it does open a lot of people's eyes to the possibilities of things, and it can allow people to take it a lot more seriously, to see that there is so much potential for people to actually be able to make a career out of it, for people to get scholarships from it when they're playing collegiate.
In some cases, esports tournaments have generated more money and sponsorships than traditional sports. For instance, in 2018, the International, a tournament for the game Dota 2, had a prize pool of nearly $25.5 million. That's more than the 2018 Super Bowl and Golf US Open combined. For NC Daily News, I'm Carlin Green.
According to a report by Newzoo, the leading global provider of esports and game analytics later this year, it's projected that esports will bring in over $1 billion. That's all I have for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Next, see why a UNT professor will appear on National Geographic with Morgan Freeman tonight.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
People all around the world pay it forward. I caught up with one UNT student who is paying it forward 100 days a year. Leaving an imprint on the world. That is the goal of Isaiah King, a sophomore at UNT who started a community outreach project called the Isaiah King 100 Challenge. While doing this, he started a podcast to raise awareness of what he was doing.
Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Isaiah King, and I'm back again with another episode of the Isaiah King Show.
The mission is to impact different people's lives throughout various communities with acts of kindness, such as cleaning up litter, feeding the homeless, or donating clothes to people in need. It all began from an idea to go downtown and feed the homeless.
Really what made me want to start that, it really just came out of nowhere on Christmas Day. Last year I was just downstairs and I was just thinking, you know what, I want to do something. I want to actually give something back instead of just receive on Christmas Day.
With about $2,000 spent and 10 projects complete, King hopes this isn't just for 2019.
The ultimate goal of 100 Challenge is to spark something lifelong. Like eventually, after I finish the challenge, I want it to be just something that's normal for me to do.
The challenge was accepted by some of his peers who took the initiative to help people in need.
A lot of times we want to change the world, but if you're going out, to other countries and you're leaving your community, your home, there's still a lot that needs to be fixed there. So I love the Isaiah King Challenge because it talks about coming together as a community and fixing the problems you have here at home.
With impacting so many lives at such a young age, the 19-year-old hopes to continue to influence the youth to spread positivity in the world.
A lot of times in life, you have to fall back.
King is working on getting his book published this summer named The Perfect Time Is Now, which is aimed to get young adults to pursue their dreams now rather than later.
Denton is getting its very own youth orchestra. Longtime violinist Demina Cleaver is bringing students another way to play their instruments without having to travel to Dallas or Fort Worth. Cleaver has partnered with the First United Methodist Church to create Denton's first youth symphony. Cleaver hopes students who participate will gain valuable tools they will carry wherever they go.
If they choose to go into the music field, I'm hoping that we will give a foundation that will help them do that. And if they choose not to do that, that they still will have learned things like, working hard, not procrastinating, things that will be skills that they can take into any field that they need, that they maybe learned partly in the youth orchestra.
The symphony will have 3 orchestras students can audition for. Auditions are set to begin on April 27th.
One UNT professor will appear on National Geographic's The Story of God with Morgan Freeman tonight. Professor Pankaj Jain will discuss his research on Jainism, a non-theistic religion found in India. Jain created UNT's first course on the religion.
They wanted to make a section of an episode on Jainism, the third ancient religion from India. Hinduism, Buddhism is pretty well known, but Jainism not so well known. Once we arrived there, there is only one Jain temple in Nepal where we spent several hours on one of the weekends. and we performed rituals. We sang, danced together, sang together, did rituals together.
Alex Haskell, a student of Professor Jain, says this experience will allow people to learn and understand Jainism.
Mr. Freeman reached out to him for his expertise, and he provided it. I know that he actually prayed with Mr. Freeman in a Jain temple. He explained the essentials of Jainism and helped him understand the essentials of it and then be able to explain it to a wider audience with less theological background.
Viewing and Q&A of the episode today in the Environmental Science Building. Students interested in learning about Jainism are able to take a course on the religion. The University of North Texas recently dropped its prices in its new valet parking service. The pilot program began at the beginning of the spring semester, and the school officials are already trying to work out some kinks. Prices now start at $4 for up to 2 hours and can cap at $14 for the full day. Along with the price drop, all valet services on Fridays are half price, meaning you can park your car on campus all day for only $7.
We were getting a lot of feedback that the prices, especially in the upper end, were a little higher than anyone expected. So we reevaluated and took that feedback and worked with it.
The Valet Service is a new pilot program that was put in place to help students, faculty, staff, and visitors park closer to campus. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for NT Daily News.